Hello again, everybody. This is Dan Clouser, and welcome back to the Journey of My Mother's Son podcast. I have my co-host with me again today, my beautiful wife, Sandy, and we're joined by two awesome friends that we met through a year to volunteer project, Juan and Mary Montalvo. Guys, thanks for joining us today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us. We really appreciate this.
Thank you.
No problem. So again, like I said, we met during our last project with the Year to Volunteer in Picacho State Park, and you guys were there, and we just really kind of hit it off immediately, which was cool. You know, you guys are full-time RVers as well. I want to talk a little bit about the journey that led you to becoming full-time RVers. So what was really the driving force behind making the decision to sell everything and, you know, cruise around the country on a house on wheels?
Well, I'll let Mary answer that because it was based on her health. So,
well, that was part of it. Piece of it was I was still working at the hospital as a nurse. And in 2015, I was diagnosed with breast cancer from a routine mammogram. So little plug there for all you women to get your routine mammograms because you never know. And so I went through treatment, and then it was time to go back to work. And I was just like, you know, this might be a good time after 35 years to close that chapter in my life of working and move on. And so our family of churches had a conference in St. Louis, and we were there, and there was a little breakout group, and it was called Empty Nesters on a Mission. So we went to that, and it was these small church plantings, these young couples that were there that were just asking, you know,
old people, looking for the old people,
empty nesters to come and just share their lives with the group and just love up on the younger couples, and, you know, give advice if they could, and just share their lives with them, to come and stay with them for a while, you know, a couple months, a year, whatever. So Juan and I started thinking, well, we could do that. We're empty nesters, and the kids are gone and off the payroll, and we could do that. So we started, you know, what some of these people had done was that they would go and they would live in these locations for like a year or whatever, and then maybe move on to another place. And I just said to Juan, I said, honey, I cannot move every year. That would be
terrible.
I always tell him I would rather have root canal work than move a house, because that is just a huge job. So God just put it on our heart about the RV thing, and we were like, okay, well, that sounds interesting. And so many of our friends were like, well, you're just going to go do it. You're not going to try it first, and you're going to sell your house and get rid of everything. And we were like, yeah, we're just going to jump into this. What's the worst that could happen? You know,
right? It
doesn't work, and we have to go buy another house.
I mean, we had never owned an RV. We lived in we've camped in tents and stuff like that, but we decided to 9 months of research and prayer and getting advice and from dear friends, we just decided after 9 months, we sold our house. And everybody kept saying, well, keep your house, you rent it, you get tired of RVing and you can come back. And we're like, you know what, our home being in Florida and then having to deal with hurricanes and having somebody have to shutter up the house and this and that, we're just like, no, we're just gonna kind of burn those bridges. And we jumped in head first, and it's been great. We've been full-timing now since June 20th of 2017. She had her cancer scare in 15, 16. We had gone through this conference, about 9 months of research. And in 2017, we hit the road, and we haven't lived in a house yet.
It's awesome. And it's funny because, you know, we tell people as well, like we weren't RVers, you know, same thing. We would go, you know, I mean, long time ago, tent camping. I mean, I hadn't tent camped since I was in high school, and, you know, she did it a little bit in her adult life with her sister. We never drove an RV, nothing like that. And we jumped in, and it's funny, the number of other full timers that are in that exact same boat. You know, I kind of thought we were somewhat of the exception. And the more I talk to people, they're like, no, man, we just, we did it. You know, I mean, there's a handful out there who, you know, they say, we were snowbirds for 3 years and then decided, hey, let's just sell everything and go that way. But it's amazing the number of people that just jump in with both feet.
And then I hear a lot of people say, well, when you're going to get tired of it and you'll go back to a house. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think so.
We don't either. I mean, at some point we might want a house, but right now we're still enjoying the traveling. You know, God's blessed us with great health and we take care of ourselves, and we love hiking. We love going to all the national parks and stuff. So as of right now, we don't know. People ask us the same question. So when are you stopping? And it's like, we don't know.
Yep. And they ask us the same thing. They're like, what's the exit plan? I'm like, right now, there is no exit plan. You know,
What is that?
yeah,
It's
it's
almost
living in the
it.
moment, you know, and it's, you know,
Exactly.
carp diem and you know, it's like, we'll deal with an exit plan when it's time to deal with an exit plan. But right now we're enjoying it. So, and I think that's what's so cool about, you know, this lifestyle is when you meet other people that are doing it, like you immediately have so much in common that it makes it easy to get to know people, you know, because you already, you know, you're talking to somebody who doesn't do this full time, you know, a lot of times you get the look like, wait, where do you live? You know? And then the conversation goes from there. But when you're talking to someone who's doing it, it's like, yeah, we get it. We completely get it.
Where have you lived?
Yeah,
exactly.
It's funny, and because recently just being with the family for Thanksgiving and them asking us like, well, when are you gonna get a house? It's almost like they feel sorry for you. Like,
I know.
when are you gonna settle down, you poor homeless people? Like, no.
And
We're having
if
a
we ever
great time.
do, well, if we ever get a house, it might be an apartment at that point, you know, or a senior
Yeah.
living
Oh,
center.
probably. Or it might be an RV park where we can still have the RV and just have like a little casita on the side, just
Right.
just something to call home and store things or whatever. We don't know. We enjoy. I mean, Shelly's the name of our RV, and it's kind of like Mary named it because we're like kind of like the turtle, you know, turtle.
Okay.
So it's Shelly the turtle, the RV. So, but yeah, so we don't know when we'll stop. We enjoy what we're doing, and like you said, Dan, we're meeting so many people that are like-minded, doing the same thing, and then finding, you know, year to volunteer. You know, that's just been another blessing because we love to volunteer and serve, and it's just a great opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I just spilled some coffee.
Aw.
So you guys have a YouTube channel, the Hungry
Yes.
Cuban.
Hungry Cuban Adventure.
I'm sorry. Yep. The Hungry Cuban Adventures. What was the motivation behind wanting to, you know, document those travels and, you know, to do the videos and that sort of stuff? I mean, we subscribe to the channel and we've watched a lot of your videos and they're, you know, they're very cool, but
They're very neat. I love the hiking. I watched them all, I think, now, the hiking. I can't stop. This is the best type of TV you can watch right now.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
That's my talented husband. Yeah.
there you go. So what was the
That's his-
motivation behind wanting to document it?
Well, I'll take you back a couple of years. When I first retired from the fire department, I had started doing a health and nutrition website, and I started doing little videos on how to cook healthy food. And one thing led to another. She encouraged me to go to culinary school, something I always wanted to do. So I continued doing those videos, but then I stopped for a while, and hence the name, the Hungry Cuban Adventures. My catering company was the Hungry Cuban Paella Chef. I specialize in Spanish paella. So once we started doing this, we named it the Hungry Cuban Now Adventures. We basically just started documenting our travels just for kind of letting our family and friends back home know what we're doing, where we were, and stuff like that. And the more I got into it, I really loved photography and videography and started taking classes, and we got deeper, or I got deeper and deeper into it. She edits my video before I send it out just to make sure everything's okay. Spelling, that's about it.
I try to do
That and being in front of the camera. She's like the main star, you know. So I'm behind the camera. But we started this thing just documenting from that same channel that I had before of cooking. And if you go back to some of the old videos on the channel, you'll see some of the cooking videos. I haven't done a lot, and people keep asking me about doing RV cooking videos.
That would
And
be
I've done a
fun.
couple here and there. So, but we enjoy it. I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Now I'm getting more into photography now, and we have an Instagram, same thing, Hungry Cuban Adventures. And what started off as documentary, now we have over 11,000 subscribers to our channel, which surprises how many, people see our boring life, but obviously there's people out there who want to see our boring life.
So when you did the culinary school, were you actually living in the RV at that point?
No, that was one of the
Okay.
things when we were still living in our home. I had started the catering company. We did it for about 6 years. And about that time, that's when Mary had her cancer. And when we decided to sell it, and we had a good friend of mine that was doing basically the same business. So I kind of just passed my business on to him. I didn't sell it or anything. And I did about 50 or 60 parties a year. And that was enough to keep us busy. And it's not something we had to do for financial reasons. I did it because I enjoyed doing it. And we met a lot of great people through that, and went to some beautiful homes in South Florida and, West Palm Beach and Boca Raton and stuff. So, but yeah, so from firefighting to catering to full-time RVers now. Explorers. We're explorers.
I always loved to bake. I loved being in the kitchen, and now it's like this is not big for me. And I don't have as many people to cook for anymore. So
You goddamn.
I know. And we always said we wanted to eat healthy, and I don't think, we do at times, not all the time. And I would love to get back in. I would love to be doing something like that.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and you
let's
can
do
tell you
this.
enjoyed it. Like when we did the potluck for Y2V and you did the paella, you can tell you really enjoy it. And I think that is the fun of, cooking and feeding people is, just that enjoyment that you get out of it. So, what is it about, cooking and feeding people that you enjoy so much?
Well, first, I enjoy cooking. I enjoy eating a good meal, and sometimes, it's a lot cheaper when you make it at home. I can go out and buy a steak at a restaurant. It'll cost me $60. I can make that same steak for $15 at my house.
Right.
But just the idea of sharing food with people. Honestly, if you think about it biblically, what did Jesus do? He was around food all the time. He was eating with people all the time. And it's just something that we've always done. We've always been very hospitable, whether we were at home or now on the road. And we love having people over and feeding people. And I just get a lot of pleasure of people enjoying my food and just enjoying a company. And there's something about food that's kind of like to a party. You can invite people to church and places, and they might not come, but you invite people over to dinner, the chances are that people are going to come over. It just gives you an opportunity to make new friends and enjoy life together.
It brings them together. It brings you all together.
Yeah.
Cool. So the Year to Volunteer project that we had met at, that was your first project with Year to Volunteer?
Yes. We had booked, what was it, last November, we were going to do the falls someplace in Tennessee. I can't remember the name of the place right now, the location, but it was the falls in Tennessee, and then got canceled because of COVID. And we actually had to come home to South Florida anyway, so we had to cancel ourselves. But so we have attempted twice now, and this was our first time. We finally were able to make it at Picacho because we're up in Washington this year, so we kind of just planned it out.
Yeah. So how did you find out about those guys initially? I don't know that I had heard that story.
I think, and we were just talking about that the other day. Either I had met Phil and Shar through social media. You know how we, as RVers, we're always online and looking at videos and websites and learning from each other. And I think I either met them through them, or I don't remember, Phil and Stacy Farley from Me, You, and the RV. might have mentioned it to us about 2 years ago, because it was their first project. It was like 2 years ago in Florida after one of the hurricanes. And I think we might have heard of them. We don't know, but within the RV community, people, check this out, check that out, check this out. So, and we're grateful we did, because Phil and Char have done an incredible job, and we're really excited.
Yeah, they are. They're
Yeah,
just
help them
incredible people in general.
Yeah.
They are. They are.
With that first experience, then, was it what you expected? Was it different than what you expected? You guys had to head out a little early, which was kind of like our first project as well. We came in a week late, so we only got half the experience, so to speak. But we were, they got us hook, line, and sinker after that first experience. So what was the first experience like for you guys?
Well, Shar is just a bundle of organizational energy.
I agree.
I think she should run the country, because she's
I know.
just
I
amazing.
would vote for her. I would vote
Me
for her.
too.
Me
The
too.
energy
Shar, if you're
that she gives off is unbelievable.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever worked with any projects that weren't as well organized, but I mean, just working with a group of people that things are getting done at a remarkable pace, which is very rewarding and fulfilling, and how their motto of not taking anything, they even offered for us to clean the bathrooms there and things like that. It was just a pure service attitude that they have, not taking anything. If the park provides us RV places, that's great, but I don't think they ever asked for it.
No.
And just that pure attitude of serving and giving back is just wonderful to work with.
Yeah. And I mean, that's something that you guys is instilled in part of your travels, is just giving back and serving others. And, we do the same as well. Not quite as much as what you guys do, but, to have somebody organize it for you, like Phil and Char, really, we really look forward to those projects, because it's different than if we just, show up and do a turkey giveaway one day, or, help here and there with little things. So, I mean, what is it about, giving back and serving others, that really motivates you guys? Because again, a lot of your trip planning is around service to others.
I don't know. I think we've always just been those kind of people. We enjoy helping others and serving others, and we just feel it's our Christ-like duty to give. We've been blessed so much, with our health and financially and time and everything else, that just the opportunity to be able to give back, and for all that we've been given, and it's just a little bit of how much we've been blessed with. So just the idea to do that, I mean, it gives us a lot of it's a feel good, it makes you feel good when you're serving somebody. And usually when we're, COVID has kind of put a damper on things, but we were for about 3 years when we were in South Florida, we used to go every Thursday, and I figured God's given me this talent to cook. We went to a food kitchen in Boca Helping Hands. And every Thursday from 8 to 1, we went there, prepped the food, cooked the food, served it, cleaned up. And we did that for about 3 years, every Thursday. And then Mary's real good about wherever we go, she'll go online to like volunteer.com, and you can put into zip code and find volunteer opportunities in the area. So now with the churches, like right now we're serving with our son and our daughter-in-law are part of the Lakeland church here, the Crossview church. So we've been getting together with a lot of people in the church and just serving however we can, and spending time with the young couples, and just enjoying life, really. Just enjoying life together. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, we're not counselors or anything like that. One always says we have, how many years have we been married?
We got 35 years of experience of what not to do.
Yeah, and the Bible, you just always open up and get advice from there to share it with couples that may be struggling or just need a little advice. So
I mean, we've been married 35 years. We've been Christians for about 30. We have a 32-year-old and a 30-year-old. So all that experience that we have, we can tell you what not to do in all those
I can
areas. You
tell
know?
'em.
Yeah, no
That's
doubt.
not gonna work well. We tried that.
We
No
tried
doubt.
that. Don't do it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I think for us, it's the same way. I mean, it's like you go in to a situation and, you're looking to help
Mhm.
others. And I think you find at the end, you actually end up helping yourself. It feeds your own soul
It does.
when
Yeah.
you see that
Yeah.
you're doing things for others.
Yeah.
And I think feeding people is a huge, like you said, I mean, in the Bible, there's so many references to Jesus feeding the masses and, even all the way down to the Last Supper, so there's
Mhm.
definitely some truth
Mhm.
behind the fellowship that, breaking bread together can have. And
Absolutely.
we used to do a project up in Pennsylvania when we were still living at home, called Cups of Compassion. And it was, for lack of a better term, we called it a pop-up soup kitchen where ourselves and,
In December. It was
probably, it was
always
right before Christmas, about a week before
for people that
Christmas.
didn't have
There were probably
food.
24 nonprofit organizations that would get together and we would, grill hamburgers and hot dogs and
Hygiene stuff.
all
Yeah.
kinds of, food was there and then clothing. And again, to see the people participate. And it wasn't necessarily just for people in need. It was for anybody. You could
Mhm.
have a full-time job and still come up and grab a hamburger or hot
Mhm.
dog, because it was just about the giving of a, community spirit to really promote that.
Nice.
And the way we would feel after that event every year was just mind numbing how good it made us feel. I think that's one of the things why, for me anyway, serving, it's as much of a blessing for me as it is for, whoever I'm
Absolutely.
supposed to be benefiting as
Mhm.
well. So, um, so you guys will actually go to some different churches, younger congregations, and, spend some time with them there. Tell me a little bit about, how you find those places and, the work that you're doing when you show up at one of those.
Sure. We're part of our family of churches. We have churches all over the world. It's the International Churches of Christ, the ICOC, and we've been members of our church in Palm Beach for 30 years. It used to be a small group, about 30 people, that grew up to over 300. So there's a main website, and if you want to find churches in your area, you put in your zip code and you'll find out the congregations that are in the area. And we usually look, and some of them will even give you the membership and how long it's been planted or whatever. So we usually look for young churches that are led by young couples that, are in the 20, 30, 40, 50 member range. And a lot of times, you know what they say, that 6 degrees of separation. We found out there's sometimes it's like 1 degree. It's like you meet somebody and it says, oh, somebody, somebody that knows somebody, and it's crazy. But we'll get references from friends. We were in Grand Junction, Colorado. A small church was planted about 5 years ago. That's one of our first mission trips there. We don't call it a mission trip, or visit. And they had told, when we were there for 3 months, and then we were leaving, they said they had just planted a church in Santa Fe, New Mexico. So we're like, we're going that way. So we called them up and said we were going to be in the area. We'd love to meet them and find out where they were meeting. And we ended up staying there for like 6 weeks and just became great. They had 20 Christians and 28 children. So, and they had a small house church that we met. So a lot of times we just either references from other friends or of new church plantings, or the website is how we find a lot of the church that we go to. And what do? We just, my motto is just love and serve. We go and love and serve them. We don't come in to fix anything. We're not fixers. I'm not a preacher. I can share scriptures and share the scriptures with people and do Bible studies, but I'm not one to get up and preach. It's not my forte. I can feed people.
That's
I
what he
can do
does
that.
best.
But a lot of times we just come in and just spend time with people. We might go to a brewery or a coffee shop or or, you know, have them over for dinner or go out to dinner, or they invite us over for dinner. It's just a matter of spending time with people. And you'd be surprised, you know, you might visit places, and we've been told this before, and we feel it too. You might spend, you know, a month or two with people, but you were spending a month or two with people constantly, you build incredible relationships, and the impact that you have, just one meal with one person can change their lives. It really can.
Yeah.
And we've experienced that before in our own lives and with other people. And that brings a lot of joy to us.
Yeah, that is so true. So true. And I think that's, you know, kind of going back to the year to volunteer. That's why, you know, when you're out there and you're working 5-6 hours next to somebody, you know, in the hot sun doing whatever you're doing, it does build an incredible bond very quickly. And like I said, immediately you have something in common with them before you even start. So it just, you know, it makes it so much easier to kind of talk and converse and, you know, tell each other's story and learn about the people. And you find out that you have, you know, so much in common. And I think that's one of the things as a society we need to focus a lot more on. It's all the things that we have in common, as opposed to the things that we don't have in common, which for whatever reason choose to focus on those for some reason. So that's why we need Char for president.
So that would make Phil first man, huh?
There you go.
First dude.
I hope they're listening.
If not, they'll listen later.
Yeah,
when
I'll definitely get them the link. I'll definitely get them the link. Don't worry about that. So we're just about out of time, but is there anything else that we didn't cover that you want to talk about, whether about the YouTube channel or, you know, travel in general? I mean, anything that we missed during the conversation?
I mean, we'd love for you to come and subscribe to our channel, and it's the Hungry Cuban Adventures and YouTube, and also on Instagram. I do a lot of photography and videography, and we just, like right now, we're not doing as many videos only because we're sitting here. And I've thought about vlogging our life. A lot of people want to see that, but I'm not there yet. Maybe it'll happen. Maybe it'll happen this year. Maybe it'll happen this week. We just go with the flow. But we enjoy what we're doing. And if you want to follow a couple old geezers and what they're doing in their travels, yeah, we enjoy it, and it's a lot of fun. And you know, we get complimented a lot that people kind of like vicariously are traveling through our videos, and that's the blessing for us to be able to share what we've done and where we've gone. And our goal is to hit all the national parks. We've done 37 so far, and all the videos are there. So, and we also do a lot of how-to videos, especially on the RV. I've learned a lot after 5 years, and I try to, whenever something breaks or whatever, I try to document it, because I figured if I had that problem, somebody else in the RV industry or RV world is going to have the same problem. So that's how I fixed a lot of the problems here. Is I found YouTube videos about people having repair problems and fixing them. So, but yeah.
There's so many amazing people in this country, and so many, this provides opportunities to hear their stories and to learn from them, and just to share our lives with them too. It's just a wonderful experience. I enjoy, you know, all the different cultures, and it's funny, you know, when you're traveling, it's like, oh, you have to have, you know, a po' boy in Louisiana, and then you have to have this and a Philly cheesesteak. And I mean, it could be a really hard way to keep a diet going, but we enjoy all the different cuisines all around the country. It's great that way. So I just think if anybody's considering this kind of lifestyle, I know for Juan and I, when we were tossing it back and forth, it's like, well, you know, honey, this is the youngest we're going to be, so we better take advantage of it now, because I know it's easy to think, well, maybe we'll do that in 5 years or whatever. And
you mean there's no fountain of youth?
There is no fountain of youth.
And I was going to go to St. Augustine.
So if you're even considering it, don't be afraid to jump in and
jump in and do it.
Yeah.
Enjoy life to its fullest.
I agree.
That's our story.
Honey, got any last questions for him before I get to my final
No.
question?
No,
We really love enjoying the time, and hopefully when we get to Florida, we'll be able to connect. Again, that's the thing.
Please.
That's the thing that we love, is being able to connect with people. I mean, we're here in Galveston. We got to get together with some friends that I kind of forgot were actually living down here now. And I put a post on Facebook, and one of our other mutual friends was like, "Hey, make sure you look up Pat. They're down there." And I was like, "Oh my God, we're leaving on Saturday. Hopefully we can get together." And
That's
it
cool.
was
it worked out.
one
That
of the
was-
best times we've
it
had
was
by far.
wonderful because we weren't, I was talking with other grown-ups, not just him and I, you know? So it was great. It was just great to get out and just socialize.
Yeah. So that's the human connection is the greatest thing that we've found
Absolutely.
along this, and,
Is
even just small interactions that we've had, with people. I mean, yesterday she was outside, rearranging our towels. They were hanging out there drying. We were at the pool, and a young couple came by, and they stopped and started asking questions about the RV. They're in a fifth wheel, and they were thinking of going to a motor home, and we're standing out there probably talking for 15-20 minutes, and I don't even know what their names were, but yet
They were from Kentucky. That's all I
they're
know.
from Kentucky, and they're not full timers yet. They're one of those that are, they'll go out for like 3 months
Right.
and are considering it. And again, it's just those interactions make such a great impact on your life. And again, I don't
Yeah,
even know what
absolutely.
the names were, so it's, I think if there's anything you can learn from this, it's just, treat everybody with an open heart and an open mind, and you'll be amazed as to the impact that they can have on you, for sure. So, that'll bring me to my final question. And it's up to you guys which one wants to answer it first. But I said the subtitle of the podcast is "Many Little People in Many Little Places," which comes from the opening lyrics of the Michael Franti song, which go, "When many little people in many little places do many little things, and the whole world changes." So what are some of the little things that Juan and Mary do on a daily basis to make the world just a little bit better place?
Ooh. I think one of the strengths that God's given me is I can listen to people. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy hearing them and listening to them. And I think that's encouraging to people, that they felt heard and listened to, and that I'm interested in their story. Like I said before, there's so many stories out there, and I enjoy meeting the people out there and listening to their story, and just encouraging them in any way that I can. So that would probably be what I try to do daily, is just to encourage someone during the day. Simple things might make their day. So that would be me. And here's one.
Mary's really good that way, whether it's taking the dog out for a walk, and she might be gone for an hour and she's making new friends wherever she goes. She's conversing with people and spending time with people. And that's just a great gift that she has. And myself is I love cooking for people. This 2 days ago, a dear friend of ours just turned 50 years old. So we had a little surprise birthday party for him, and I made a paella for him. He hadn't had my paella yet. So I enjoy cooking for people. On Saturday, we're having another couple over for dinner. And I like to feed people. And as we're feeding people, it's just a great opportunity to get into each other's lives and get real with each other. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that we as people can become so shallow and so, one-sided, that when you sit down and have a meal with somebody and ask the deep questions, people's hearts are exposed, and you bond a lot quicker that way. We've always been known to be a couple that were really open about our lives, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And when you do that, it kind of puts the walls down, and people are able to turn around and do the same with you. And those relationships and those bonds will just last for eternity.
Yeah, I love that. Those are two very good answers, for sure. So again, guys, I love being able to take out the time and help tell your story. And again, we'll definitely connect when we get to Florida. We'll be there for about 2 months once we get there in January. So
Okay.
if it's not at the Tampa RV show, it'll be somewhere else. So we will definitely connect
Somewhere.
Yeah, no doubt. So for folks out there listening, be
we're
sure
gonna
to check
do that.
out my, I'm sorry, what was that, Mary?
We're gonna hold you to that.
Oh,
You
definitely,
said-
you should, yes,
Definitely,
please do, please do. So we definitely will connect. And actually, now that you bring that up, it's funny because a lot of our friends, you know, when we first announced that we were doing this, and, you know, I've got old players scattered throughout the country. I've got, you know, just other contacts that I've made throughout my career, you know, scattered throughout the country. And I've said, hey, when we get to Bend, we'll look you up. When we get to Phoenix, we'll look you up. And so they hold me to it, but so many of them are like, wow, you really actually did come and hang out with me for a few days. You know, it's like they're
We were 100% sure that that was going to actually happen. I think.
yeah. So we will definitely keep our word. It's one of the things
Okay.
that, like she said, I mean, you know, we love being together, but when you can get together with others, it's
We know exactly what you're saying.
So for folks out there listening, be sure to check out my blogs and other podcasts at Clouser.com. Juan and Mary, thank you so much for taking the time, and we will definitely see you guys down the road.
Thanks, guys. Safe travels. Bye-bye. God bless.